What's up guys, welcome to my channel if you're new, and if not, welcome back. Today is my first video in my new setup in my room off campus in Lynchburg. It has been about a week or so since I uploaded, probably like a week and a half by the time I actually upload this. I knew that I was gonna be needing a break because this happens every single year. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna upload so much, I'm gonna vlog and all this stuff. Because whenever I was at home for like 6 or 7 months, I had nothing but time. But whenever I'm here, I'm just doing things all the time. I just always forget how kind of chaotic it is here, so I apologize for the lack of content. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I wanted to film a kind of update video on like what it's been like here being a Liberty student during this time, and kind of just like my experience so far being back. But I knew that whenever I asked for questions on my Instagram, honestly, I knew that I couldn't really slide by without making a video about this current situation going on with the Falwells. And I knew whenever I was asking for questions, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to slide past this one. Honestly, for a while, I've been kind of scared to talk about it. Like, honestly, since I've been here, like for 3 years, I just haven't talked about it since I've been here. Anything that happens with the Falwells, it's honestly just a lot of people don't say things about situations out of fear. Not that I have anything terrible to say, it's just the fact that like a lot of times whenever you're a student here, you don't want to talk poorly about your school for one, but also it's just a weird situation. Like, you don't want to talk bad about it. Jerry Falwell is not associated with Liberty anymore. I feel a little bit more comfortable like talking about it more than I have before. I feel like I get a lot of questions from people that don't go to Liberty, and I was actually interviewed by somebody from ABC 13 about this because one of my friends works for a news station here and they were just doing interviews. I was interviewed by somebody asking me about like my perspective on the situation as a student. It's been like this for years. It's definitely not just exclusive to this year, but I think as Liberty students collectively, we always get the questions like, oh, why are you going to Liberty if it's obviously so like conservative, and Jerry Falwell did this and Jerry Falwell did that. The funny thing about that situation is actually like moments before I found out, this was like weeks ago, but it was before the scandal came out. If you want to look up the scandal, I don't really want to talk about it on my channel. Just look it up. It's literally all over the news. Whenever he first was asked to go on a leave of absence, I was actually at the doctor, and my doctor was just asking me about Liberty. She was asking me like why I chose to go to Liberty, and she was like, oh, isn't that where Jerry Falwell works? Isn't that blah blah blah? Isn't that this? All stuff that Jerry's done that's all over the news that people think represents us as a whole. And that's definitely not exclusive to this year. Anybody that's been at Liberty, anybody that's a Liberty student knows that people routinely put Liberty in a category just specifically with what Jerry Falwell chooses to do with his own life and his own political affiliations. That is so far from the truth of how majority of us view Liberty. So whenever this scandal came out, I think that the vast majority of us, like, it was very disheartening and it was really sad, at least for me. And whenever I talked to the interviewer about it, I was like, I'm just really sad for their family, because whenever they are the head of our school, even though Jerry can sometimes say embarrassing things and awkward things and only bring in politicians, post these random things on Twitter that are totally not Christ-like, amidst all of that, it's like we kind of grow to love their family as the face of Liberty in a way. The majority of us were just very sad. As Christians, we really shouldn't rejoice in somebody's downfall. When that situation came out, that is such a sad situation. We are the biggest Christian university in the world, and to a lot of us, it was always super frustrating because we're not perfect. We're not a perfect student body, but as a whole, I have never met a more kind-hearted, compassionate community that literally just loves everybody, sees everybody in our school as a family. If you go to Liberty, I see you as my family. We get to serve together in our community. Honestly, what brings us the most together is that for the most part we are all Christians, and that bonds us so much. We get to go to a huge church service on our football field and worship Jesus together as a collective. Every single time I'm around that environment or in that environment or in campus community, I'm just always so blown away, and I always tear up because that is why I love Liberty. I've never felt more like home anywhere in my whole life, and I know a lot of people that would say the same thing. The political affiliations of our former president do not define us whatsoever. His scandals, his comments, like, they do not define us as a student body, and it's honestly kind of frustrating. I keep saying this, but this is not exclusive to this year, how like people would associate, oh, well, you have a bunch of politicians and you're conservative and you're this and that. I would say the vast majority of people that I talk to, like I'm talking the vast majority of people that I talk to, don't want political speakers. It harms our witness and our ministry as Christians to be associated with a political party instead of with Christ. When people see us, we don't want people to say, oh, they're the conservatives. We want people to say they're the Christians. They're the people that love Jesus. They're the people that love people well. If you want to go watch our campus pastor's campus community sermon last week, it's from August 26th. Our campus pastor at Liberty actually apologized for any time that somebody felt like they were being oppressed, for any of the scandals and how that reflected poorly on us. Apologize for actions that weren't even his. His goal this whole time, and I've seen it in like the way that he talks about situations, is to unite our student body and to show love like Christ. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. I'm not saying that like you're wrong if you're a conservative, but if you're a Christian, you should care more about your relationship with Christ than your political party. Your Instagram should be more a reflection of Christ than it is your political party. I think that it is such a disservice to the community at Liberty to be known as being political rather than being known for Christ. The people that aren't at Liberty, you really don't know until you're here. It's an environment that you can't explain. It's a community that you can't explain. Yes, we are not perfect. Yes, we have our faults, but to put us all in a box with one person, I just don't feel like it's fair. I see a lot of people hating on Liberty. Please don't put us all in the same category as somebody that doesn't represent us. And I'm telling you, he does not represent us. He's never represented us. I just wish that you guys all who don't go here could just see and tell. Like, we love this place. We love this place. We know, like, we understand that a degree from Liberty right now at this moment doesn't look the best. It doesn't look like maybe other schools would. A lot of us got into other schools. A lot of us got into better schools. I got into a lot of good schools in North Carolina that I could have gone to. A lot of people that I know got into extremely elite schools, but they chose to go to Liberty because they came here and experienced it. As a whole, we're kind of all just like ready to kind of move on into the next phase of Liberty. Somebody asked if they addressed it, and David Nasser, our campus pastor, like I told you, he addressed it last week at Campus Community. If you want to go watch that, and it was phenomenal. I could not have put it in better words. The sermon was on grace and truth. An important thing to note, at least speaking from me, I don't have any ill will for that family. I hope so badly that they can all be closer with the Lord because of the situation. I hope that they can fix whatever problems are happening in their family. I hope that they can find peace. I hope that Jerry can do something. Like, it was kind of obvious that this whole time he's been more passionate about politics than he really is about our mission as being champions for Christ. And so I really hope he can find something that he's as passionate about with politics as we are about being champions for Christ here on campus. I think that overall, I really just hope the best for everybody in that situation, and we are literally praying for them. The thing is, we also can't just brush it off as it's not a big deal. Our pastor, David Nasser, was talking about grace and truth. As a Christian, you have to have a perfect balance of both. Whenever somebody's a Christian and they're sinning, you have to sit with them and understand and talk to them and listen to them. But at the same time, you have to love them too much to let them just stay in that. I'm a sinner, just like Jerry Falwell was in this situation. I am not going to sit here and say that I'm better than him, because the truth is that I'm not. What we believe at Liberty is that Christ died for me just like he died for Jerry Falwell, just like he died for David Nasser, our campus pastor, just like he died for every single person on this planet. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better because I didn't have my dirty laundry spilled out for the whole world to see. There has to be accountability for things like that, especially as a leader. Jerry Prevost, the new president, did come at the last campus community. He just seems like the sweetest man. He came and was introducing his wife. He's like, I think he has to be like in his 70s. He was a pastor in Alaska. He just seems like the sweetest man, and I'm really excited to have him as our new president. I think it'll be really good for us, and I'm excited to see where Liberty goes from here. It's so weird that this is my last year because things are so weird this year and so different. Like, I feel like the first 3 years were relatively similar, and then this year is just completely different than any other year. So it's been crazy. I just wanted to address this situation like just one time only, because I feel like I can't really continue on with Liberty videos without addressing my point of view on that situation. Get subscribed if you're not ready. I love you guys. Follow my Instagram if you're not already to keep up with me real time, because I really only upload once a week, twice a week, but my Instagram is very regular. I literally post on Instagram all the time. If you want to follow me on there, I'll leave it right here and down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.